What is up, Gear Squad? ChaingearGaming here, bringing you another video. And today I unfortunately have some rough news. If you guys are fans of Naughty Dog, fans of their games, you know, Uncharted, The Last of Us, especially if you're a fan of their multiplayer games, yeah, it's not looking too good. I was a huge fan of The Last of Us Factions, which is Last of Us, the original Last of Us, when it first dropped back in the day. They had a multiplayer mode. It was called Factions, and I was really excited about their new online mode that they were creating, or apparently a whole new game for the Last of Us universe. Well, like I said, we've got some rough news here, and we've got an update from The Last of Us Online, their online project. Unfortunately, Naughty Dog will not be moving forward with any of their online projects for The Last of Us. This is really sad news for folks who have been following this for a long time. Huge shout out to the Starks. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description down below to his YouTube channel. I've been following him to follow news about this game, yeah, it's been really interesting. We were really excited for this game and to see what they were gonna do, but unfortunately, they decided that instead of pursuing an online game where they would have to make major shifts and changes to the way that their studio works to keep a live service game up and running, they decided to say, no, we're not going to make an online game. And instead, we're going to stick to what we're good at, making single player experiences. So I am of two minds here. Yeah, it's a simple, to say, hey, I'm upset, I'm mad, I really wish they were going to make this game. But let me kind of split it up into the two different thoughts, kind of where I'm at here. And so number one is, yes, I am sad. I am upset. I love The Last of Us Factions. It's actually the first game that really got me into multiplayer. When I was in college, I played The Last of Us Factions, I played Battlefield 3, and I played a game called Blacklight Retribution. Those are the three games that I played the most online. And I had a ton of fun playing The Last of Us multiplayer. Factions was something that I had never played before. You could play it casually, but really you kind of found your groove if you started to get a little bit hardcore, found a group to play with, and you played pretty consistently. But this was back in the day when games that were single player had kind of a tacked on multiplayer mode, just like the old games of like Uncharted multiplayer, right? Those games were very fun. Were they like super, like esports and, really competitive? Not necessarily. Sometimes they had some balancing issues, some glitches, things like that. But the core of the game was there. It was solid and it was very, very fun. Unfortunately, they decided not to move that game over when they created The Last of Us Remastered. They decided not to create another version of it for The Last of Us Part 2. And so we've unfortunately just not had a multiplayer game from Last of Us or Uncharted or Naughty Dog at all. And now we know we're not getting one pretty much ever. Now, it's possible that we might get something in the future where there's a little bit of a multiplayer aspect, kind of like they did in the past. But from what we understand from this blog post here is that it's highly unlikely, and they're focused specifically on single player games. I was really excited for this game mode, for this game. Again, apparently this is supposed to be a standalone game. I was really hoping that they might take the mantle of DMZ or extraction shooters. I don't like battle royales, but if there was one game that was going to let me play it and actually enjoy the experience, I thought it was going to be The Last of Us. But we're not touching that, and it'll never see the light of day, and it's just officially canceled. So I am sad. And I think if you're sad, it's appropriate and it's fair to understand that this isn't coming out and we're allowed to be sad about it. But my second thought is that I am hopeful. I am hopeful. And I'm hopeful for three different reasons. The first reason is whenever a AAA studio doesn't step up to the plate, and I don't blame them for not stepping up to the plate. It makes sense. They outlined it fairly well here. We'd have to completely change the way our studio runs to create an online game like this and actually, work with it to make sure that, it would be a long-lasting property and worth the money and investment that we're putting into it. I understand that. But whenever a AAA studio doesn't come up to the plate and deliver, an independent developer has a tendency to wiggle its way in and create something similar or even better than what we were anticipating. Now, when I say an independent dev, I don't necessarily mean it always has to be completely independent. It can be a studio that has a publisher. It can be a studio that is well known. But if The Last of Us isn't going to come out with, if Naughty Dog is not going to come out with The Last of Us Online, I do believe that there are passionate enough people who wanted to see this game create something similar enough to it that might bring some people on board to play a similar game. So I am excited about what the future holds for people who loved this game, The Last of Us Factions, and what might be created by people who are passionate enough to give it a shot and create their own similar style, whether it be factions or whether it be this, DMZ style, extraction style shooter that's similar to The Last of Us. We'll have to wait and see. But like I said, that's one reason that I'm hopeful. The second reason is because of PlayStation overall. PlayStation is making a couple different online games, live service games, and we know that one of them at least is an extraction shooter. I don't want every single game to come out and be a battle royale, extraction shooter, all this stuff, but it would be cool to see at least one of their studios try and take the extraction shooter mantle. I know some people are like, I don't want any more extraction shooters, but there's really only one successful one right now, and that is Tarkov. The rest of them are either gone or dying and hey, you might tell me that I'm wrong and throw one at my face, but they're certainly not popular enough to dismantle any of the really one popular one, Tarkov. I thought it was going to be DMZ from Call of Duty, but even they decided to drop that title as well. So I'm excited to see what PlayStation has to offer. And if PlayStation doesn't think that it's worth it, if PlayStation is allowing Naughty Dog to just drop this product and say, hey, go ahead and keep working on your single player games, then I do believe that there is a solid somewhere in the portfolio extraction shooter that they think is going to kind of take the market by storm. It could be Marathon by Bungie. It could be some other game that's coming out down the line. We really don't know, but I'm excited to see what they do. And the last and final thing that I'm hopeful for is Naughty Dog's next game, because they decided to drop this entire project. And at the end of this blog post, they actually say, and let me actually read this to you right here. It says, we have more than one ambitious brand new single player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog, and we cannot wait to share more about what's to come next when we are ready. So I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if we're, ever going to see a multiplayer thing from Naughty Dog ever again. This might be completely the end, but no matter what, I think we're going to get better single player Naughty Dog games because of it. And I'm still excited to see what PlayStation and of course the independent development, kind of space and community, see what they create as well. So yeah, I'm sad. If you have friends who were excited about this, don't be an asshole, be nice, and understand, when you're excited for something and it doesn't show up, it's always a little bit sad. But for some people, this is a really, really big deal. For others, they kind of will move on and go right past it. I feel you. Shout out to, again, Starks, because I get it. It's a really sad moment, but I'm hopeful, and we'll see where the industry goes. With that, I'll see you guys online, and of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. That was so cool. That was sick. All right, those are all headshots there.